Welcome to Scale Her Up, the Female Entrepreneurs Show with me, Dr. Brenda Hector. I'm a business growth specialist helping business owners to develop themselves and grow their business so they can achieve their goals and enjoy the lifestyle they dream of. I'm on a mission to revolutionise the entrepreneurial landscape for women in business. In every podcast episode, I interview someone who has an inspiring story or some great advice for women aiming to start or scale their businesses. So if you're new to the show, take a moment to subscribe right now so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. And please check out the previous ones after listening to this episode. We've got an awesome Facebook community too. Just search for Scale Her Up and join in. Today, I've got Gael Simpson of Gael Simpson Personal Training with me on the podcast. Gael, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
So it sounds like a silly question because usually I say, so what do you do at Gael Simpson Personal Training?
I think it's not a silly question because I think a lot of people think that all I do is one-to-one personal training and focus on fitness. That's not all that I do. So yes, I am a personal trainer and I focus on the well-being of individuals. So I focus on one-to-one personal training, group sessions, small buddy sessions, but that's just a small element of what I do. I also offer outdoor fitness classes, and beyond that, beyond the fitness aspect of it, I work with corporate teams on learning and development sessions. So focusing on staff well-being and development, building resilience, looking at team camaraderie and how we work well together, but also focusing specifically on the well-being of those individuals to make sure that the people who are coming to work on a day-to-day basis are well in themselves and able to provide the energy that they need to do their jobs. So it's not a silly question because personal training for me is not just about the fitness aspect of it, it's about training individuals, coaching individuals. I do work with individuals coaching as well, looking at lifestyle and wellness coaching to ensure that people are ready and raring to go with life. That's a little bit about what I do.
So it's really important. I think everybody understands health and well-being and fitness and mental health and all of that. It's all tied in and we get that it's important. What drew you to personal training and that health, working in the health space?
Yeah, so I suppose it's quite a lengthy journey that I've had in my career. So I started out as a primary school teacher many moons ago, about 23 and a half years ago, with little people, day to day, the impact you can have in the way that you plan their day. Health and well-being and fitness has always played a big part in that. For me, if we didn't get the well-being part right for the children and young people we were working with, we were never going to get anything else because they weren't going to be able to focus. They weren't going to be able to bring the best parts of themselves to the table. And that's always been a key driver for me in my career. Throughout my career, I then progressed into a principal teacher role, a deputy role, a head teacher role. So I climbed the ladder, never wanting to, always said right at the beginning of my career, I don't ever want to be in a management role, but found myself that the more I progressed in my career, the more influence I could have within those leadership roles and the more impact I could have on the young people that I was working with. So I saw that impact and that circle of influence that I then had going into a leadership role. And again, within my leadership roles as a head teacher, I was the first head teacher in the city to bring in something called the Daily Mile, which allowed young people to be out running every day. And we saw huge benefits from that. It really improved behaviour, it improved concentration and focus. And actually, it supported not just the young people, but it supported the staff as well to feel in themselves getting that time of day outside. We know the outdoors is such a powerful space for us to be, to give us that wellness that we need. So getting good air in the lungs, getting movement, and the children would open up differently with the staff as well. So you were getting not just the physical health, but you were getting the mental and the emotional and the social support as well through that. So lots of initiatives were driven by focusing on the well-being of the young people in that leadership role. I then was fortunate enough to secure a position as a quality improvement manager in the local authority. And as part of that role, I took on strategic leadership for health and well-being. No surprise. And as part of that, again, worked really closely with local partners across Aberdeen City to develop the physical education, physical activity and sport group, which is better known to some as PPAS. I also had such a key driver in mental well-being and the importance of that for young people and for staff. Again, pulled partners together, and for me, collaboration was key to everything we did. So pulled all key partners together to develop the Aberdeen City Mental Health Collaborative. which allowed us to look at mental health pathways and support from birth through to end of life. So there were lots of things happening within that role. And I also was leading the educational psychology service alongside our principal educational psychologist, and learning and development with wellbeing as part of that for staff. So you'll see the thread that comes through my career has always been that wellbeing bit, Brenda. In 2024, I made a decision that I wasn't getting to spend the energy on the bits that I needed to spend the energy on, or that I wanted to spend the energy on. For me, my passion was the well-being bit, but lots of operational responsibilities were taking over from that and not allowing me to really focus on the strategic work that I was doing both locally and nationally. So at that time, there was a position within the NHS as lead specialist of wellbeing and growth. So again, lead specialist of wellbeing and development for 17,000 staff who were helping the wellbeing of others. So for me, that was a no-brainer. I wanted to change, I needed a challenge, and I wanted to continue to focus on health and wellbeing. I made that move, and it was a short, brief move of sort of about 9 months. And for me, it wasn't the right move. And without going into too much detail, for me, the environment, the ethos, the culture just didn't support what I needed at that time. So I made a brave or stupid decision, who knows, resign from post with nothing secured to go to. But in the background of that, for the last 10 years, alongside my better half, we've run an outdoor fitness company called Tunnel Training Fitness, which offers a free session per week to anyone that wants to come along, which gives back to the community. So it allows us to have fitness for us, but it also allows us to build a community of people who maybe can't afford to pay for gym memberships or pay to go to classes, etc. So that allows us to do something that little bit different. And so in the background, running that with my passion for wellbeing, I secured my personal training qualification and my gym instructor qualifications, and see the huge benefits of being physically active, both physically and mentally, on myself and on others round about me. At that point in my career where I had made a decision to move from that environment that I wasn't happy, it was a bit of a do I or don't I? Do I go back into the corporate world and sit behind a desk all day? Or do I follow my passion, be physically active, and impart that knowledge and skill, well-being side of things into others? So yeah, I took the bull by the horns and did it, and launched my own business in February 2025.
So you already had you were a qualified personal trainer because of what you did in your free time while you were, or you took the.
No. So my other half is qualified. I used to be the kind of person on the side, always coaching and supporting. And I guess with my background in teaching, I was there supporting. I formalized my qualification a couple of years ago.
Okay, so before you decided
Yeah.
to leave that role. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was doing it in the background. For me, I wanted to have, I guess because we ran that company, I did a lot of the background digital social media, but also all the kind of coaching and encouragement on the side or as part of the classes, with a qualified member of the team there. And so I wanted to have that for myself. So I've gone that route for, I love to learn. Being in that position, if my other half was off, I could then cover that class, or had something else, like another commitment, so I could cover the classes, and it meant that we could continue to offer that to other people, and without withdrawing the classes from that kind of weekly routine that we had. Yeah, so that's why I had gone down that route in the first instance, and then decided, yeah, let's use it for
it's given you
the
this
career.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
When did you say you actually took the leap? How long have you
February.
February. So, and here we
February
are,
this year.
yeah, only a few months.
Yeah, absolutely.
How has it been? Has it been what you expected it to be?
More. How has it been? Challenging to begin with. I think when you move from what's been a steady career for 23 years with steady income and all the things that come with that, to being self-employed and not knowing when the money's coming in and how the bills are going to be paid, all of those things, yeah, they're scary. It's challenging. And I think that you've got to have a good level of resilience, great support networks round about you to believe that it's the right thing to do it. Sometimes you're going to go, oh my goodness, have I done the right thing? But when you see the impact that you can have day to day, with individuals, and you start to see the business improve, and an increase in through word of mouth is hugely important in this career. I guess I am my business. So it's all about how I network and how I share what I offer. But it's also about that, the impact of, I guess, the sessions that you offer to individuals and what they say to other people. That makes a massive difference to continued support and people coming to you for services. Yeah, it's hard to take that leap. Specifically around about financial stability, but also being on your own, working on your own boss. So there are benefits to that. It can be lonely if you're self-employed, even if you're working with people, because you've got to do everything for yourself. But it's really rewarding, and you are your own boss. You manage your own diary, you manage my own time. I decide where I work and when I work. And because of the job that I do, I can work outdoors as much as I want, and my clients are happy with. And so there's got to be great benefits to that, haven't there?
Yeah, absolutely. So we met networking, a couple of networking groups that I'm a member of. How important, you said it's lonely. So how important has getting the right people around you? How important do you think?
Yeah, of course it's important. So I guess I realize I am in a new industry. So that for me is, you almost feel imposter syndrome, don't you, when you're in that space? And I think I've always done in my job as a head teacher, sitting there in my office that first week going, oh my goodness, I'm a head teacher, to I'm a personal trainer, and do I know enough? And there are people who've been in the career for many years. And so having the right people around you is really important, both people in the industry and people beyond the industry that you work in, who can give you sound advice on how they run their businesses, what the best ways to market your business are. All of those things are really important. So and it's not just about networking to bring in clients. I think that's really important for me. The networking part of it is more about understanding how other people do the job, do their business, so that you can learn from them, but you can also help to provide some of that support for others as well. I think with such a vast background that I have lots of transferable skills. And sometimes when you say I'm a personal trainer, folk go, oh, she just does fitness. There's an awful lot more that I can bring to a conversation than just let's hit lots of reps and etc. Having people round about me, being around the right networking opportunities, gives me support that I need, but it also allows me to provide support to others as well, who are potentially at that stage of will I, won't I, or I'm struggling with this. Could you offer me some guidance and support?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I came to a different industry when I started working with ActionCOACH, and I didn't have a business community around me. So yeah, network has been really important for me as well.
Sure.
So I'm a big champion for healthy body, healthy mind, healthy business. So let's talk about that. When you said it's not just personal training you do, helping businesses have a healthy team with a healthy body, a healthy mind, and therefore doing it in a healthy way, if you like.
So I offer two half-day sessions for corporate industries. One is focusing specifically on the individual well-being of the team. So really helping them understand what that looks like, what individuals need, giving them time to reflect on themselves, their priorities, their lifestyles, etc. And then I guess in finding that, what is it they need to do differently, or what is it they might need to change to improve that well-being for the individual? But also then, how does that resonate? How does that impact on how they show up on a day-to-day basis, and actually how their peers support them to show up and give them the accountability or the support that they need to be able to be the best versions of themselves. The second session is called Vibe with Your Tribe, and that's more about the collective. So how do we collectively look after our well-being? How do we collectively consider our resilience as a team? And how do we then use that to get best outcomes from the work that we do? So that might be looking at team guiding principles or values, purpose statements, etc., of a team, and really honing into how do we get to that point by making sure that our staff are they're well looked after, we're well respecting of one another. The behaviours that we show up with day to day are the behaviours that we expect from everybody. We model it, all of those things, and that comes down to strong leadership. So I have a huge passion for getting the leadership bit right and working with leadership teams to understand the impact that if they focus on the well-being of their staff and themselves, because that's important, and they get that, I suppose it's back to the teaching bit, isn't it? If we get the well-being bit right, people will thrive, and that then coming through in less staff absences, in more motivation to prioritize work and get things done, and work collectively as a team when you show up together. Yeah, hugely important. And I think I don't want to speak too much about history. Leadership is really important for me. And if you have strong leadership and strong leaders who really understand their team well, it has a massive impact on how they show up to work on a day-to-day basis.
I guess it's the culture that's created within that business. And if the culture is long hours, social drinking with customers, that sort of thing. Yeah, the bacon rolls, Pizza Friday. People can get carried along with everybody else is doing it, so it must be okay. And so being clear on what you want to stop as much as what you want to start within.
Absolutely. And that could be as simple as encouraging people to go out for a walk at lunchtime and being the person that starts that. So modeling that, I'm getting away from my desk, I'm switching off, I'm taking a digital detox, and I'm going for a walk. And that there are so many people in a leadership position who will encourage it, but they don't model it because I've got to get this done or I've got to get that done and I'm going to have my lunch while I'm sitting in front of the laptop. And if that's culture that you're modeling, then people are going to follow suit. Better not go, because actually somebody might think worse of me if I'm away from my desk for 10 minutes. And it's really important to set good habits. And one of the things that we talk about in the Vibe with Your Tribe is about how do you set those non-negotiables? And those non-negotiables are around about, what do we say? Right, lunchtime, we have a break. You've got a half-hour break in your diary and you take it, no matter what else is going on. And whether you go for a walk, whether you go and just sit and have a peaceful read or just peace and quiet, if you can encourage some physical activity, great. And one of the things I do is work with some organisations at a lunchtime to do a lunchtime fitness class as well. Some people are bringing folk in to do those lunchtime fitness classes, whether it's high intensity or whether it's just a stretch, focusing on posture and mobility, because we're sitting at a desk all day. And it's really important to be able to get away from that space and think about your bone structure, your muscles, and how you're holding yourself throughout the day. And we're all consciously now sitting upright, aren't we? And pulling the tummy in. So lots of work with corporate teams and businesses that hopefully allow them to really think about how they support one another and individuals to make sure they get the best out of the whole team moving forward.
That impact that you saw in those primary school kids when they were doing their daily meal. Now, my kids were in primary school when that came, and so that same improvement in engagement and enjoyment and for the pupils and the teachers is the same for the staff and the managers
completely
working with now.
Completely. And I've seen it firsthand. And I go back to the young people. I measured it. I did measure it between an October and December period, and what a significant difference it made. And I know that it works with staff. I've done it myself. I do lead by example when I've been in leadership roles. So I do put the screen down or whatever. And as a head teacher, I'd been out there running with the kids as well. I wasn't sitting in my office all of the time. I was visibly leading.
Was it a half hour that inside the school was quiet so you could get things done?
No, it wasn't. And that would have been great. Of course, that would have been great. It's that time where you're getting no interruptions and people are constantly asking you questions. And people who are sitting in teams across different organisations will find that my team are going out for lunch or they're going away for lunchtime. I'll get half an hour without anyone sending me a notification through Teams or an email or coming and tapping on my shoulder and asking if I'm free. But if we get sucked into that space, then we could work 24/7. And I know how easy it is to do that, whether you're working in an office space or working from home, which actually can be worse.
So I was just formulating this question in my mind. What's your take on this post 2020 thing where people are working from home? Do you think it's good, or would you like to see people all back in the office working together? Or
I think it's a really fascinating question, and I think there's no straightforward answer to this one, Brenda. I think it's got to be flexible. We've seen huge benefits to people working from home. I myself was in that position where we were all forced to work from home for a period of time during lockdown and afterwards. For me, there were huge benefits to that. I found that I was able to stop and have a coffee, throw the washing into the washing machine, natural breaks through the day, get out and go for a walk at lunchtime with the dogs, and maybe take that a little bit longer because I knew I was coming back and I could spend that little bit longer in the evening. I didn't have travel time, so I was actually more productive myself. However, there's got to be that balance of working with people in person. And I'm a huge advocate for that. So it's about being creative and clever with your time, I think, so that when you do come together, that time together is valuable, it's worthwhile. Coming into the office and all sitting on headphones on Teams meetings, not talking to one another, is that worthwhile? Who's that helping? Is it productive? I'm not sure. Does it allow you to tap somebody on the shoulder and ask a quick question? Yeah, of course it does. And it makes that a little bit easier. So for me, it would be about getting the balance of that right for the individuals, what works for each individual, but also making sure there are touchdown days, or whatever you want to call them, days where we all come together and we come together for a purpose, for a reason, to focus on that collaborative opportunity to work together, rather than just all sitting doing the same thing, headphones on, not talking to each other. And I've spoken to many friends who may go into an office space, everybody's got their headphones on, no one's talking to each other, they're all talking on Teams, so it's hard to concentrate, but no one's actually talking to one another. So we've lost almost the ability to communicate in the same way because Teams is making us more accessible from different parts of the world and other parts of organizations. So yeah, it's about getting the balance right for individuals, but making sure that you make best use of that time when you are together, if you're not together all the time.
So thank you very much. The other thing that I wanted to ask you about is something that's close to my heart and causes a loss of skill, loss of people in businesses. A lot of women struggle at a particular age. You work with menopausal women, yeah, an area that you focus on.
Yeah.
I've got two areas that I'm interested in, is how it affects a business owner, a female business owner, going through that, and how they can continue to run their business to the best as they can when it's lonely and you're the only person at the top. It can be really tough. And also how any business owner can support staff that are going through the changes and the difficulties that come with it. Yeah. I'd love to get your perspective.
Yeah, okay, so let's try and decompartmentalize that a little bit. So, yes, I am a menopause movement coach, focusing on working with women who are going through that perimenopausal stage. Menopause is actually one day in time. It's not a big, it's that 12 months after that final cycle is menopause, but that whole bit beforehand, that perimenopausal stage, is the bit where we find we're sluggish, we have brain fog, the weight starts to pile on, the motivation to do things can go. There are things that we can do to improve that. The business owner, you were talking about the business owner who's leading an organization, who's struggling maybe to have brain clarity. I suppose the answer will be the same for both, but there will be elements of it that will alter. One is be kind to yourself and recognizing first and foremost that these are normal things that happen to many women, and it's a transitional period, so it's a period in your life where things are changing, and it's responding to those changes as best you can to give yourself the energy, the motivation that you need. We know that lack of sleep, hot flushes, all those things can have a massive impact on how you then feel the next day and how you then present yourself, because you're tired, you haven't slept, and you've got to lead a team meeting or something, and actually your brain's not doing what you want it to do cognitively because you're depleted in sleep. So the best thing I can encourage from a physical fitness perspective is strength training. So strength training 2 to 3 times a week really builds core strength. It allows your body to be looked after. It allows the weight loss to be managed carefully. Eating well, so busy, and having been in that position, busy working women who have lots of other things going on in their lives sometimes prioritize everybody else over themselves. So plan what you're going to eat, when you're going to eat, and make sure it's nutritious. So I always encourage people to think about your your plate in 4 quarters. Make sure that 1 quarter has protein, 1 quarter has carbohydrates, 1 quarter has green leafy veg, and the other quarter has other vegetables and fruit in it. So make sure that you're planning well with your nutrition. Make sure you take some rest time for yourself. So that rest time might just be a walk, it might be active recovery, a walk or a swim or sitting down reading a book. So plan in rest time and get off digital technology before you go to bed. Again, busy working women, business owners, we're always checking the emails, checking your social media feeds, making sure staff are fine. If you've got teams, make sure you have time to put the phone down, the laptop off, and have that digital detox time so that it allows your brain to reset and recover. And focus on your own resilience. So if you are a resilient person naturally, some of these things might not bother you. You might bounce through menopause quite comfortably or through perimenopause quite comfortably and not be challenged by the hot flushes and things. You just kind of take it in your stride. But one of the things that I worked on specifically over lockdown was the Resilience Alphabet, which is a resource that supports individuals to reflect on how to build resilience. We're born with resilience, but how we manage it and what happens in our lives, if we're affected by a trauma or if we're affected by positive or negative things in our lives, that can affect our resilience levels hugely. So focusing on knowing how resilient you are, and if you need to build that resilience, finding tools to be able to do that, being able to be adaptable in the moment, being able to be flexible, understanding that you have a choice, and that choice can be either to choose to do this or choose not to. So there are nutrition, making sure that you're doing some strength training, prioritizing yourself and being kind, not beating yourself around the bush if you can't quite get the word out that you need to get out or find the phrase that you need. You shouldn't need to seek permission to make errors in a busy working leadership role. And I suppose in terms of supporting staff, recognizing and being aware of any changes in females that are working in your organisation. So if there are changes, if someone's coming to work and they're really tired, they're seeming less motivated, have the conversation. Don't be scared to go and ask if everything's okay. And 9 times out of 10, most people, if you ask it in the right way and you're in the right environment and you've got the right culture, people will open up to you. So having regular one-to-ones with staff to give them opportunities to do that, and having the right support in place for those women. I'm going to do a little pitch. So I do a 6-block program on menopause movement that allows you to focus on 6 different themes. So something like that, that allows you to give those women that are struggling the time, the space to learn about menopause, to understand it, to look at the tools that they can have and they have internally already, and how to use those tools effectively to be able to support one another, but also to support themselves through that transitional stage, which can be for some really challenging.
Like what you've said about the resilience alphabet, actually, I'm thinking about how a business owner or a manager or a team leader can think about the resilience of their staff, like just like knowing that she's going to be she's much more resilient than her over there, and being able to manage everybody differently depending on the individual.
Yeah, that's right. And you might not understand why somebody is more resilient than somebody else. There can be lots of reasons for that. But recognizing it and I suppose as a leader responding flexibly to individuals' needs, I think that's such an important aspect of leadership, is to be able to respond differently to different people that you work with. And so, yeah, the Resilience Alphabet, resiliencalphabet.co.uk is a free website, free resources on there for young people from 6 to 13, 13 to 16, and then an adult version of it, which gives you a letter of the alphabet that you can focus on every day, or you can spread it out over weeks if you wish to. And there are things for you to consider. There are things as coaching questions built into it as well, and things for you to play around with, trial, which makes it quite practical for you to then think about, oh, that's what that means for me.
I love it. I'll be straight on there. Thank you. Thank you. Gail, if you could go back to 18-year-old you, I can't remember, is it usually 18 I ask? Yeah, let's say 18. 18-year-old Gail, what would you say?
Oh gosh. What would I say to her? Do it. I have no regrets for the career path that I've taken. I think everything that I've done has taken me to where I am today.
Mhm.
Every experience has been a learning experience. I've learned so much from working with young people. Their sprightliness, their enthusiasm, it brings great joy. To working with much older adults that I work with now, again, there's such great stories that you learn from people that you work with. To the challenges that I've faced in some of the career choices that I've made, that in itself allows you to see, yeah, this is what I want to do, or actually this is not what I want to do, or these are my core values and I will not have them changed or broken, or however we want to phrase it. I'm going to stick by my core values. And I think that's something that I've done throughout my whole career, is very strong-willed with what my values and principles are. And that comes through hopefully in the jobs, the roles that I've done, the work that I've done for others. And there are three things that for me are really important. One is that everything I do has been person-centered. So having people right at the heart of everything that I choose to do in my career, that authenticity. And so what is what you get, and having integrity. So if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. So yeah, what would I say to 18-year-old me? Do it. Yeah, just do it. I guess my catchphrase, what do you call it? Catchphrase, motto is find your strength within this business. But I think that's about finding whatever strength it is you need to get through the day, whether that's getting up in the morning or running the marathon or writing the report that you need to write for the next person that you're handing over to. Whatever that is, that strength is that you need. Finding your strength, knowing your inner self, being clear and comfortable and confident in your skin, I think is really important.
I love that. I'm just writing down a new affirmation for myself. I am finding
Yeah.
my strength. Yeah.
Hashtag find your strength.
Oh, Gail,
That's
thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure
You're
to.
welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to the listeners. Thank you for listening to Scale Her Up, the Female Entrepreneurs Show. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes, and join our Facebook community at Scale Her Up. Connect with me, I'm Dr. Brenda Hector, on social media, and drop me a message to let me know you're enjoying the podcast, or even better, pop a review on iTunes. I'll finish by reminding you that only 1 in 3 UK entrepreneurs are female, and men are 5 times more likely to scale their business to over 1 million in turnover than women are. If we started and scaled our business to the same extent as men, it would add £250 billion to the UK economy and provide millions of jobs. So, ladies, you can do it, and you're going to make a massive difference.